Welcome students to the new lecture. Inside this we will learn JavaScript. Okay. Before this lecture we have completed what is CSS and how to work with the CSS in Composer. And students, have you didn't see my previously video, then open the Producer Computer Center in a YouTube, and then you will type there Producer Computer Center, and then you will find my all 10th and 11th 12th videos. Okay, from there you can find chapter 2 and CSS video also. So see that video first, and I also given that video in my bio. Okay, so click on that and you can see it. Now we are going to learn what is JavaScript in this. So before we proceed to type in JavaScript, first we should know about this JavaScript. Okay, so JavaScript is called a scripting language. Now language means what? Language means kind of language, like English is a language, Gujarati is a language, Hindi is a language. Like these are called the languages which is used for the speaking. Similarly, in a computer, if you want to make any programs, then you have to learn some programming languages. Okay, got it, the idea about programming languages? So same way, there are many programming languages are there, like C, C++, Java, PHP, Python. Okay, these are the many programming languages are there. From them, JavaScript is called a programming language, but it is client side scripting language. It is very easy and it is used for the client side. Now what is the client? Client means the person who request the information, and server means the computer or the machine which sends the response. Here in this case, a web browser become the client. Okay, it will request some information and send over the internet to the particular web server, and then web server interpret it, and it will give the response to the client. Okay, so client. Now client side scripting means there are two kind of scripting: client side scripting and the server side scripting. Client side scripting means whatever you type here, it will check by your client. For example, have you entered correct information or not? Like you have, if there is a phone number text box is there, okay, and you are going to enter text box, inside that you will enter numbers of your mobile number, right? But if you enter string or name instead of number, then it should check before that. So this task is done by the web browser, or means client side scripting. Okay, and this is done by the JavaScript. So JavaScript is used as a client side scripting. Now it is used to make web pages or interactive web pages. Also it is called scripting language, and it is also used to insert dynamic text into the HTML. Dynamic means it is validated text inside that. React to events. What is events? Events means something happens. When you click on that, what should happen? That is called an event. Okay, for example, if you click on button, if you click on the page, if you click on the link, that is called an event. But if you click on that, what should happen? That is called an event handler. It performs the calculations on users computer, like a number of validations you have given on that page. Validation means you are checking the information whether they have entered correct information or not. That is called a validation. A web standard. Okay, it is also all the see all web browser does not support all that kind of things, but some of them will support all the facilities not related to Java other than by name and some systematically similarity. Okay, it is not same as the Java, but some of them it is similar to Java. Now next we are going to think about the JavaScript syntax. Syntax means the structure which is used for the JavaScript. So we have to use script, and you can type here source name, but if you have a ready-made JavaScript file, then you can use like this. Okay, otherwise you can type script language equal to text or JavaScript and then slash script, but before slash opening and closing script we can type all the statements here. Okay, so it should be, and always remember script or JavaScript always written after between the head and slash head tag. And if you create a separate JavaScript file, then it should be .js file name will be there. It is same as this CSS. Previously we have learned CSS. Okay, and how to put the CSS we learn. Similarly, JavaScript will also use to type inside the heading and slash head tag, between the slash head tag. Okay, now event driven. Event means, see, for example, this is a button. When you click on the button, what should happen? That is called an event. So if you click here, an event will occur, and what to type here, then if we have created a function, then function will call that, and depends on the whatever statements written inside that function, it will execute and it will display on the screen. So this is called the event. So that means it is also called event driven programming. We can manage that event. Okay, inside that JavaScript we will also learn the alert means different kinds of boxes are there, messages are there, so it will prompt on the user. For example, if you have entered wrong information on the on the text boxes, or if you haven't selected any checkbox, right? So at that time, if you click on submit button before given the proper information, then it should display then error message on the screen that please enter all the information correctly. Okay, so that kind of message can be displayed using the alert box. Okay, next, buttons. Also we can manage the buttons. Previously in first chapter we have also learned how to how to insert the buttons, like submit buttons, reset button, and clear buttons are there, and normal buttons also there. So we can also create an events on the buttons. Okay, the JavaScript functions, that is most important, because next we are going to learn how to create the functions and how we have to create the functions also. So if you want to create a function in a JavaScript, then here first we have to write here function and then the function name. We have to type here function keyword. Okay, and then we will type the function name, then opening and closing bracket, then opening curly brace, and it will be closing curly brace. Inside that we will type the whatever the statements we want to type, and all the statements will be separated by the semicolon inside that. Okay, so this is the syntax of how to create functions in the JavaScript. Event handler, previously we discussed about the event. For example, if you click on the button, then this function should be called. So that we will type here button on click is called the event. Many events are there, we will learn it, but for example this is one event. On click means when user click on that button, what happens? So at that time my function method will be called. Okay, and then whatever statements given inside that function, it will call itself. So this is called the event handler. It will create the event and it will call that particular function. Then after calling the function, all the statements will be executed and it will be perform that task. That is called event volume. Then DOM means document object model. For example, this is main is HTML. Okay, then after there are two heading tag and body tag. As after here we will type the titles. Okay, and then body tag, we will inside the body tag we will type your h1 tag, division tag, paragraph, all that stuff we will type there. So this is called the DOM. Okay, how to declare variables inside the JavaScript. So if you want to declare any variable, then we have to type here var stands for the variable. Okay, var, then type the variable name, and if you want to type any, if you want to assign that value at the same time, then you can type is equal to then particular value. For example, here var client name is equal to Connie client. Okay, that means the name, this is the string variable, this is the string variable, and sorry, this is the integer variable, and this is the float variable. So like C, we no need to define this data type. Okay, the JavaScript will automatically interpret the data type of your variable based on whatever you have given the input. Okay, so this way we can declare the variables inside the JavaScript. Okay, also we can create a number, boolean, string, array, objects, function, null, and undefined, all that kind of stuffs we can declare that, but are not supported. Types are not supported, but JavaScript does support all the loosely typed data types. Comments means what? The part of the computer program that will not executed by the compiler or interpreter, that is called a comment, but it is important. Like if you are going to write a program for electricity bill, okay, so on that program you have to type the date, who has created that program, what kind of model you have used, on which date you have created, this kind of things you have to write. Okay, this is called the this is for the reference of the programmers who read later on that program, but it should not execute inside the compiler. Okay, so that it is not required, but it is required for the person who will read that. So it is called the comment, and we can assign two types of comments, single line comment and the multi-line comment. If you use the single line comment, use the double slash, and if you want to use multi-line comment, then backward slash star, then the all lines, and then after star and backward slash. Okay, so we can use the in HTML, we can use like this kind of comment. CSS, we can use this kind of comment. In the JavaScript and PHP, we can use this kind of comment, and PHP we can use hashtag. Okay, so these are called comments line. Now next is null means nothing. So null is different than space and zero. Okay, null is different than space and zero. So for example, here one variable name is, then it is null. So null can later on we can assign that value inside that. Okay, that is called a null. Now here the 9 is there, so it is the value of 9 will clear. Null mean is exist but was specified, assigned, and empty or null value. Currently it does not have any kind of value. Okay, operators, there are different kinds of operators are there. From that the logical operators are there. For example, greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, and or not equal to, okay, double equal to, triple time equal to, not equal to double times. Okay, so and means both sides should be, both conditions should be true. Not means, or means either condition can be true. Not equal to means nothing can similar of that. Okay, so it is called the logical operator. Please remember this, students. Next we will learn statements like if statement. If statements means if condition becomes true, then something will be happen. For example, if you have given two check boxes like male and female, okay, for the gender, but if person select male, then male should be displayed, otherwise female will be automatically displayed. Got it? But if students, if someone select male, then male should be displayed, so we have to check it using the if condition. So we'll use if condition to check the all particular conditions or expressions. Okay, this is the syntax. If, inside that the condition, we have to write the opening curly brace, inside that we will type all that statements, and then we will close the curly bracket. Okay, this is the simplest use of if. But also we can use else if also. So multiple choices are there, then we can use same. Boolean means true or false, or yes or no. For example, here male is equal to true, that means the default value of male will be true, but the second value will be false. Okay, so it is called Boolean type. It may be true or it may be false, right? Okay, pop-up boxes, previously we have discussed about the alert box. Similarly, we can alert the message. Okay, then confirmation message is also there, it will confirm you okay or cancel will be there, and then prompt means it will ask information from the user. So three kinds of boxes are there. Alert boxes will just display, you have to type only okay on that. Second, confirmation that we want to continue or not, yes or no, okay or cancel will be there. And for the prompt message, it will take input from the user is in form of the string. Okay, so students, this is all about the theory of JavaScript. Okay, right now we are going to learn about how to do the JavaScript in a computer using the composer. So let's begin the composer. Yeah, we have opened the composer. Now what to do inside the composer, we will do as given in the our text box. Okay, textbook. Okay, so we will open the textbook here, and then based on that we will work here. Yeah, see, JavaScript is we have opened right now here. What kind of things we can do with the JavaScript? So we can check that has the user left any required field or empty field or not. Has the user entered valid email address or not. Check whether the contents of two fields are same or not. Has the user entered a valid date or not. So such kind of things we can check using the JavaScript. Okay, and where to write the JavaScript? So this is the simplest use of how to write the JavaScript and where to write the JavaScript. So student, let's make write the one statement that hello students. Okay, so here we will click here on the source, and in the source, remember, first we'll type here title like use of JavaScript. Okay, and our JavaScript will be always written in slash and slash head before this slash head. Okay, so here we will type script, and here will be slash script. Remember the spelling. Okay, it should be proper. Okay, now here we will write document. Document spelling should be proper. Document dot write, and we will type here inverted comma my first web page in JavaScript. Okay, now save it. Okay, and try to run this one. Okay, okay, it should be run use of JavaScript dot html, and save it. Now press F5. It should be open, any web browser should be open, and inside that it will display my first web page in JavaScript. Done. So whatever text you will type, it will be display here, and our tab name is use of JavaScript. Okay students, so I hope you understood this, how to create, how to type the first, how to create the first statement in the JavaScript. Okay, now next thing is what to do inside that. We are going to type some format. Inside that we will create one text box, and its name should be there. what to do inside that. So they had told us to create one form and it should be entered a proper name inside that. Okay, so inside that we will check the user has user entered a proper information or not. He or she cannot send a blank information inside that. Okay, so let's start to create a page, create a form and assign that form, like define a form. Then form name is, for example, we are going to take form name is form, okay, js form or just js, and action url is js dot, sorry, form name we have given use of js dot, and here form name is js, and here js dot html, and its method will be post. Okay, and click ok. But before we proceed, we have to click on the advanced. From the advanced, click on the JavaScript events. Okay, and from the JavaScript event, you have to click here, select the on submit button. This is called an event. When user click on the submit button, what should happen? So when the user click on the submit button, we will call a new function that will check our information. So here we will return, and the function name will be validate form. This is our function name, and that function we will create it now. Okay, so we have copied this. Students, remember, on the submit, what happens? So on the submit we will call the validate form function. Okay, so that we will go to the here. Okay, we will go to the source, and here we have the script is there. So inside the script we will type here function, and then function name will be here, and then opening curly brace and closing curly brace. Now we are going to do some design here. We will put here one label, like define a label, and then we'll type here name. Okay, then user will enter the name, and name should be entered in the text box. So fill here, and it will be text, but name should be text box name should be proper. So txt name, we will give the txt name and click ok. Now after that we will use a submit button. Okay, so we will click here and again define a button. So it will be submit, name equal to submit, and the value remain also submit. Okay, now click on that, but as we know it will not display the name, so we will click here and type here submit and press Ctrl S. Now see, done, right? But when user click on the submit, it should validate the user entered the information or not inside that. Okay, that means this text box should not be empty. Right now if we select it and if we click here, nothing will happen, right? But when we click on that, it should display, it should check that you have entered information or not. So for that we will check here, we will check here the, see, as we know this is the function declaration. This way we can create the function in this JavaScript. Okay, now we will create one variable that will be x is equals to, it will take the value from that text box. So is equal to document dot document dot, then our form name. The form name is js.html. It should be document.js. Okay, this will call the function. See, it is given here what kind of things we have to input. So name, the name js1 dot name dot value. So here what have text box name is txt, name is given, and dot value. So whatever information given inside the text box will be copied and saved into the x. Okay, now we are going to check that user has entered or not. So we will check if x equal to blank, means nothing they have entered, or if this is called or, either condition will become false, it will return the message, or x is equals to null. As we know, null means nothing. Okay, null means nothing, so either will becomes true, this will return the message. So what to do if these statements becomes true? We will display an alert message, okay, inside that. So what to do? Alert message, and we will type here please enter the name proper. Please enter the name, just say. Okay, and then after displays message, okay, what to do after displaying message? We want to focus on the same name. Our cursor should be on these text box. Okay, so we will type here document dot form name is our js dot js, then after text box name txt name dot focus. Now what is focus? Focus is a method, and that will our cursor will be automatically sent to the inside the text box. So this method is used to focus the text box. Okay, and then if error message occurs, nothing should happen, nothing should return from this, so it will be return false, that will do nothing. Okay, now press Ctrl S and try to run this one. Okay, if we haven't made any kind of mistake, typing mistake, then it should appear perfectly. So see, we have made some spelling mistakes, something. Okay, so we have corrected this page. Okay, that was the file name mistake, because I have saved with a different file name and applying action with a different name. So I have saved this file with the javascript1.html, and the form name also remains same, javascript1. Okay, now what to do? What we have done, everything is similar. Variable x is equals to document dot javascript1. Javascript1 is the form name, dot txt name is the text box name, dot value. So whatever the value which I entered or not entered, it is in a text box, it will save inside the x. Now I'm going to check that if x equals to null, means it is empty or not. If it is empty, then it will display please enter a name, and if it is space is there, again it should display the error message. So I have inserted alert box, and in that I will type here please enter the name. Okay, and then after that our cursor should be focused on the same text box so that you can type the name. Okay, and then we are not doing it, we are not returning anything here. Okay, so it will be return nothing, right? So now try to run this one, press F5 from the keyboard, and let's try to make it is running or not. See here text box is there. If you type here submit, then it will display error message that please enter the name. Okay, and if you enter the name here like anything, okay, and if submit it, it will return nothing. It is correct input. Okay students, so this way we can create a javascript inside that, but remember that we have to use the javascript after the title and slash title and script. You can start the script, and before slash it you have to close the script tag. Okay, and inside that we can do this kind of coding also inside the composer. So students, this is the simplest use of javascript, and simple validation is there. After this lecture, in the next lecture I will explain you entire registration form, how to validate each and everything. Okay, as we know, in the previous lecture we have done registration page, you know that. Okay, so this is our registration page we have done. Okay, so in the next lecture I will explain you how to validate this entire page. Like if you click on the submit, it should validate everything. You have to enter the first name, last name, middle name, you have to select it, you have to enter the address, you have to select the at least one city. Okay, so this kind of validation I will explain how to do it step by step in the next lecture. Till then, like my videos, subscribe and share to your friends also. Okay, and try to do this homework at your home with a computer or laptop. Okay, till then, thank you and bye.